Is it under here somewhere? Padded Room Radio back on the air, ladies and gentlemen. I am still the host of the show. My name is Darian. I don't know if we've met. I don't know if we've been formally introduced, but around these parts they call me the D-Man, and I am in charge of this little shit show. It's a solo show, inmates. It's just me. Sorry. Buddy is still in the throes of moving. That sucks a bag of dicks. I am sorry for that. And Dusty apparently has thrown his back out. Or did I blow his back out? That's gay stuff. That's what that is. Starting the show off right with a double scoop of gayness. Yeah, man, Dusty hurt his back. I don't know what he did. I think he was cleaning his trailer or something, and nothing good. You get to be our age, dude, and you hurt yourself getting out of bed. It's serious, bro. It can go down just like that. You had nothing to do with it. All of a sudden, you can't turn to your right anymore. And that's just how you got to live your life. It sucks. It sucks. I'm sure it's going to happen to me probably within the next 2 weeks. I'll throw my back out. Or something else. I'm actually older than Dusty by a couple years, so really it should have happened to me already. But I'm a little lighter in the loafers, if you understand what I'm saying there. That's more gay stuff. Double scoop. Booyah! All right, inmates, what's up with you? I had a birthday last weekend. Had a good time. Went downtown, rode some scooters. I don't know what kind of cities you guys live in, but here in Reno, Nevada, we have something called the Bird scooters. They're basically like little motorized scooters that you can rent for as long as you need them. It's like 15 cents a mile or something like that. It doesn't come out to a whole lot, but goddamn, those things are fun to ride, especially after you got a couple cocktails in you. I don't know if that's legal. Probably not. But we did it. We did it anyway. We didn't get caught, and we didn't hurt anybody or wreck anything that I know of, that I recall. We didn't drink that much. I don't feel like we drank that much. We ended up at a Cougar bar too. Dusty was there. Some of my friends from flag football. We ended up at a Cougar bar, and it's weird walking into a bar, like a legit bar with a band and a dance floor and stuff. And I'm the youngest guy there. I'm like the hip, young, edgy guy. I'm the oldest of my friend group. I walk into this place, I'm suddenly the young maverick. It's kind of weird, dude. And I don't know, man. You could smell the desperation. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was one wrong turn away from receiving a hand job from a hexagenarian underneath the table. I don't know, man. I'm gross. I'm grossing myself out with this. All right. Anyway, I had a happy birthday. Thank you all, by the way, for your birthday wishes. I'm 47, if anybody gives a shit. I am officially 47 years old, so fucking A, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But thank you all again for the birthday wishes. I got a regular horror show to do. I'm going to do it by myself. I don't have a lot of choice in the matter, so I guess I'll just do the whole shit that I always do with the horror news and the listener mail. Let me kick things off with some horror news, just like we usually do.
Horror news.
Yeah, buddy. Saber Interactive has revealed a single-player Hellraiser revival video game. You can pre-order it right now. You can if you want to get real crazy with it, you can do all the fucking limited edition shit in the special packaging and all that. It's like a $260 package you can get if you're that hot and bothered for this. I'm going to tell you, it looks like a good game. It's single player, so don't get your hopes up for, being the chunky Cenobite, because I think you just, from what I saw, you're not even Pinhead. You're like a guy stuck in the labyrinth. So don't expect like a, Dead by Daylight situation. I think you're just a dude trying to get out of the labyrinth while the fucking Cenobites are chasing you around. So look out for that. It looks good. It looks fucking sexy, bro. Like, in the trailer that I saw, it opened up with like a cowgirl situation, love-making deal with like a guy and what appeared to be an attractive young lady. And in the Cenobites, cock blockers that they are, show up with hooks and chains and, you summoned us. Well, can you give us 15 minutes there, Pinhead? All right? All right, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, but still. I'll go with you into the netherworld. You just got to let me finish my business here. Looks good. I think I'm going to wait until I actually get to play the game, and then maybe I'll just do the download or get a physical copy. I don't know. I don't need... Dude, I got so much horror crap in this house. My wife is going to divorce me. I think that might be on the docket for 2029 is the divorce, because I have too much bullshit in this house. What else do we have here? Trailers are up for Mortal Kombat 2. Have you seen it? It looks like we're going to Cheesy Town a little bit. We're bringing Carl Urban in as Johnny Cage, and I guess that is the cheesiness of the Mortal Kombat mythos and franchise. So I guess you gotta dip your toes in there. I tell you what, I didn't see anywhere in the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. The character of Cole, remember this guy? He was the main character in Mortal Kombat 1, and I didn't see him, but they seem to be focused mostly on Johnny Cage. I don't know what's happened. That guy does not exist. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a bit of a Mortal Kombat doofus. I can regale you with all kinds of shit with the Nether Realm and who got killed and when. I could tell you all about it. I'm not going to bore you, because a lot of it is very mundane and repetitive, but at the same time, I can tell you for a fact that Cole guy does not exist anywhere in the game lore. He was a character completely created for the movie. I don't really care if he lives or dies. Apparently, he's supposed to be a descendant of Hanzo Hasashi, the original Scorpion. Hanzo Hasashi's family was wiped out in the game by the Lin Kuei. But I don't want to, again, I'm dipping my toes in here. I don't care. I'm going to check it out because I'm a Mortal Kombat completionist, probably get it on Blu-ray. I don't really care if that cool guy comes back or not. He was kind of silly anyway. What else we got here? Filming is underway for Evil Dead Burn. Yeah, what are we doing here, fellas? I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this. I feel like they're trying to... Okay, I liked Evil Dead Rise. I like all the Evil Dead movies, to include Army of Darkness and Ash vs. Evil Dead. Really liked Evil Dead Rise. I don't want a Evil Dead universe. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like, I know I've talked about this before, I felt like they were kind of pushing us in that direction with the 3 Necronomicons that they pulled out of their asses for Evil Dead Rise. I don't know that I want that. I would like to see a sequel to the 2013 Evil Dead. Bring Mia back. She was a bad bitch, right? In that movie, hey, now, with the gore and all the other nonsense, Good stuff. I would like to see a sequel to that. Hopefully, if they are trying to tie all 3 books together, that's where I would like to go next. If they are. I hope they're not, but if they are, that's what I'm saying. Also, filming begins this September for In a Violent Nature 2. Now, this is something I am excited for, but at the same time, a little bit not. Allow me to explain. In a Violent Nature, great movie. All right, loved it. New approach to the slasher formula. Really liked it. Really, I kind of feel like there's no place to go but down from there. And I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be a curmudgeon about the horror sequels or ways that they've fucked us before with bad, shitty sequels. Remember Wolf Cop 2? Yeah, what a pile of crap that was. And we all loved Wolf Cop 1. I almost called it Wolf Crap 1. We all loved Wolf Cop, right? And then they give us Wolf Cop 2. It's bullshit. They've done that before. You know? You get an indie director who has this kick-ass idea. He makes it on a shoestring budget. We all love it. Then a studio says, hey, I'm going to give you a couple million to make us a sequel. And then he just kind of loses his mind and it goes completely off the rails. It could happen. I hope it doesn't, but it could. So now I kind of don't want to get my hopes up too high because I don't want to be hurt again with a shitty sequel to a movie that I really like. Okay. Lastly, it looks like Chips Ahoy is going to be releasing Stranger Things cookies. So my son is going to piss his pants with excitement because he loves Stranger Things, and he's also got a sweet tooth. So I'm sure they're going to taste like shit. I'm not saying that because I don't like evil things. Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things, but they make some weird. Sometimes they get a little crazy with the different cookie flavors. Let me give you an example. I got Chips Ahoy sitting on top of my refrigerator right now. Chips Ahoy, quote-unquote, ice cream sandwich. They're cookies that are supposed to taste like ice cream sandwiches. I'm going to tell you right now, they taste like bullshit. They've been sitting on top of my refrigerator for about 2 months now because nobody in this house wants to eat them, and apparently nobody wants to throw them away either because I know as soon as I throw them away, my daughter's going to come out and go, Daddy, can I have a cookie? And I'll have to say, no, babe, I threw them away. And then that's the story of my life, pretty much. So look out for that if you're some kind of a Stranger Things super fan. Maybe you just want to buy it for the packaging to complete your Stranger Things shrine. If you do, I'm going to recommend you either eat all the cookies or throw them away, because if you leave them sitting on top of your refrigerator too long, they become like Chinese throwing stars that you see in the ninja movies. You know what I'm saying? And you can easily break a window. They get rock fucking solid, dude. All right, anyway, that's it on the horror news. How about some listener mail?
Listener mail.
Hey, we got some voicemails coming at us here. Let's see who's up first on the voicemail line. Looks like it's our main man from Alabama. Alan's in the house.
Padded room, what's up?
What's up, Alan?
Let's see, Terradome's coming back.
Yes, sir.
Thinking about my teams. I've seen
going.
Side of Evil before. It was okay. I got to watch Sinners. That movie was so freaking good.
Right?
You know, I wasn't sure I wanted to watch it, and then Jason recommended it, and then y'all talked about it. Loved it.
I got to watch it again, dude.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Darian, you are,
Come on now.
Red State.
Yeah, you got
and
me.
I know what next month is.
Oh, do you now?
Anyway, talking about the road reads, I started listening to that Incidents Around the House. I just wanted to hear it, and I get what you're saying about the actress's voice or whatever.
It gets a little grated,
haven't
dude.
finished it. Don't know if I like the concept that it being told from like an 8-year-old.
Sure.
But I get what you're saying about the mom and all that.
Yeah.
I'm just happy it's short, something I can listen to at work or something.
Yeah,
anyway, that's all I really got. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Beautiful. Thanks for calling in, Alan. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's almost like ASMR. Do you guys know what ASMR is? It's basically like a weird. To be honest with you, I don't know 100%, but I think it's a weird kink where guys get off on having chicks whisper to them. If you put it on YouTube and just put in ASMR, it's nothing but videos of chicks like all up in the microphone. Hey, how's it going? That shit irritates me. Dude. I mean, if you're trying to do, like, my kids want to tell me a secret, they get all up in my ear and they're like, Daddy, let's go find that. Okay, that's one thing. But, like, just, 5 minutes straight of somebody doing that, dude, I will freak right the fuck out. Maybe I'm OCD or something, or maybe that's just, like, it makes my skin crawl. You know what I'm saying? That being said, I don't really have it's a little grating. You know what I'm saying? That's clearly a full-grown woman reading incidents around the house. And I think it would have been much better if I had just read it and thought to myself that this is a 6-year-old girl perspective. But listening to her, it's almost like listening to somebody doing the voice. Oh, here's a good example. Oh, God, what the hell? Let the Right One In. We've all seen it, right? We've all seen Let the Right One, the original Norwegian version. Okay, the only copy that I could find was dubbed in English, and whoever it was that did the voice of the bully kid was clearly probably a late 20s to early to mid 30s female. And she's trying to sound tough and do this kid voice. Hey, you know what? Sven, I'm going to punch you in the face. Okay. You're not fooling anybody, and you are not intimidating. And now you're kind of pissing me off a little bit with this. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. I think they are making a movie out of incidents around the house. I think the movie could be kick-ass. They really got to kind of... you really got to turn up the scare factor, though, because the book itself isn't all that scary, and it just makes you really despise one of the characters. And they lay it on pretty thick and give you numerous reasons to despise said character. We talked about that last week. I'm not going to get into it again. Alan, if you ever finished it, I'd love to get your thoughts on the ending, because the ending made kind of the whole book seem pointless, if you ask me, but that's just me. All right, thanks for calling in, Alan. We got Mr. Tom Hardy lined up next. Hey, yo,
Padded Room. How's my favorite degenerates this week?
Mr. Tom Hardy.
Well, I do hope everyone is doing well.
I'm
get
good.
In real quick.
Can't say anything about Dusty.
Department. Are you Red State?
You got it, man.
I remember seeing it once. Thought it was pretty decent.
It's a good show.
Not as Kevin Smith as most Kevin Smith flicks are, but
I agree.
Still thought it was all right. Is that what you are? I might be fucking mistaken.
No, you got me, man.
We got
Well
no
done.
meat hooks. We do not have a terror dome
We're getting
going
ready.
on. But on the What Are You Looking At department, got to catch a single flick.
What's that?
The Funhouse.
The original?
You know, the Toby Hooper one.
Oh, yeah. Love that one.
And, I remember liking it more.
Okay.
The last times I saw it, it's still fine. You know,
Yeah.
I just remember thinking that it was a good flick, a really good flick. And it was just kind of like, okay this time around.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it did bring up a question I had for you.
What do you got?
In the very beginning of the flick, the main girl, it turns out to be, your final girl.
Survivor Girl, yeah.
She gets topless.
She does.
And it's very rare that the main girl gets topless. Like the final girl, the heroine, the Nancy, the fucking Jamie Lee. Well, unless it's like not a horror movie. But, you know what I mean? So I was like, what other flicks has that happened where the final girl was fucking bearing it all? And
right.
I couldn't think of it. I mean, I remember the beginning of Night of the Demons, but
She
the
kept the
girl's
bra on.
not actually
No.
topless. I think she had a bra on. Or
But you
like
could
that.
see
But by the
through-
way, that's kind of fucking weird too, because in both of those flicks, it
Perv
was
little brothers.
like the fucking girl's little brother, like spying on her, and shit.
Yeah.
And the fucking dude from Night of the Demons, I think his exact line is
Bodacious boobies, sis.
I mean, that's fucking weird, man.
It is,
Fucking love
but,
horror
you know.
movies, but fuck, that one's fucking weird.
I agree.
Anyway, I don't know what I'm going off with this. Hope all's well. Love you like family. Bye.
Love you too, Tom Hardy. Thanks for calling in, man. It's true. It's weird. It's not something you see often, but it does happen from time to time. I think there is like a, or at least in, okay, so Funhouse, what, 1980, 1981, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 79. We're still on the burgeoning cusp of the big slasher craze, and I think there was like a formula put out, or some kind of a successful Roger Corman-esque formula about having at least one set of naked breasts in there, that you had to have it, and there had to be a kill like every, I don't know, 14 minutes or something like that to keep the audience interested. A lot of movies followed that formula. A lot of them didn't really need to. I think Funhouse is a good example. I would say 90% of the movie is her being a prude and being a sweet, innocent type. And like when they're convincing her to try to spend the night at the carnival, she's like, "Oh, I don't know, guys. Oh, but Jamie, Ted really likes you. Oh, I know. I like Ted, but I don't want to." And then she calls her mom and lies to her, and she's like, "Oh, I feel really bad. I don't lie to my mom." So I get that, but at the same time, even in the context of that topless scene, if I recall correctly, it was just like 30 seconds of her in the shower, right, before she got out and then caught her brother peeping. Yeah, dude, I'm going to be honest. Is it weird? Yes. Can I say with any degree of honesty that if I had an older sister that looked like either that young lady or the chick from Night of the Demons, and I was a sexually, I don't know, not confused. If I was sexually overcharged, being a 13-year-old and my hormones going crazy, I might just try to check out a boobie. I'm sorry. Is it weird? Yes, but that you do weird shit when you're 13 and you got your first boner, right? So it's not like I would, set up cameras in a room. Or what was that? Bloody Birthday. Remember that one with, what was her name? Julie Brown. Where her little sister has like a glory hole set up in her bedroom closet and charges her friends to come check out her older sister, Julie Brown, dancing around naked for like 50 cents a pop. Right? That's kind of weird. That's borderline sexual assault right there. But you know what? At the same time, that's what happened in movies in the late 70s, early 80s, and nobody batted an eye or thought it was inappropriate or anything. Really, it was just kind of, these fucking kids. All right, that's all I got on the listener mail. Thank you very much, Alan and Tom Hardy. You guys are gentlemen and scholars. You know that. If you feel the need to reach out to us here in the Padded Room, you can do so at your leisure, either one. The mental health hotline is area code 775-387-0275. Or you can just email us at mail@paddedroompodcast.com. We reserve the right to make fun of you and tell you about 80s boobs and the inappropriate ways of viewing them. So there's that. In the meantime, I believe it is time for a movie, ladies and gentlemen.
God damn, it's good to see you guys.
DeFranco, get your ass out here.
Major? Major.
You're all here tonight. That's very special. It's been 6 weeks since Susie checked out.
Sweetheart, we all miss Susie.
Then please, will you humor me? With a seance. The spirits speak directly through us. If there are any spirits here, make yourselves known. What the hell is that? Don't you dare get up. What? We have to end the seance before we break the circle. Look! Spirits, force your way into our world. With all your might, come in. I broke the circle. That means the door isn't closed yet.
To hell with you then.
No! You're not gonna drag us into the dark with you.
This madness is over. This war is over.
Says who?
Brooklyn 45, ladies and gentlemen. This is from 2023, got 5.8 stars on IMDb. Written and directed by Ted Gohagen. You may remember him from We Are Still Here and a couple other movies that don't come to mind. Starring Larry Fessenden, Ann Ramsey, and Jeremy Holm. These are regular Glass Eye picks. Regulars, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Larry Fessenden, of course, owner and operator of Glass Eye Picks. Ann Ramsey, you'll remember her from The Taking of Deborah Logan. She played Deborah's daughter, who was kind of homely and always pissed off. And Jeremy Holm has been in some of our favorite movies, like The Ranger. He was in that Werewolf Blackout that we did a couple weeks ago. He was one of those gay guys. Black Mold he was in. He played the homeless dude. He's become quite the horror guy. Very distinct face on Jeremy Holm. We are in 1945 Brooklyn, as the name of the movie would allude to. And it is, as you could imagine, right after World War II, and things are kind of winding down. Well, a little bit. We're going to pick up on December 27th, right in between Christmas and New Year's, here in Brooklyn, and we're going right to a, I guess not really a part, just a gathering, just some friends getting together at one of those old brownstone houses there in Brooklyn. The first couple arrives, and it's Ann Ramsey. She is playing Marla the Merciless. I'll explain in a minute, but her name is Marla, and her husband Bob is there. Marla gets out of the car. She's walking with the assistance of a cane. They're met immediately by Archie, who is also getting out of his car. Archie is played by Jeremy Holm. We get a little quick introduction, and then they make their way up the steps to the brownstone, let themselves in, and this is where we meet the host of the night, a guy by the name of Lieutenant Colonel Hochstetter, played by Larry Fessenden. They just call him Hawk for short. And he's got another guest that's already there. It's Major Paul DeFranco. And he's there in his full military uniform, I guess, because he's still in the Army, apparently. I don't know. So that's where we start off. We get a little bit of an introduction. These are all old friends. Bob, who is Marla's husband, is the only person here who was not in the war, in the military. He worked at the Pentagon. That's how he met Marla. But the rest of these guys are a Lieutenant Colonel Hochstetter, Major Archibald Stanton, and then Major DeFranco. So they're all like hardcore, and they all saw action in the theater over there in Europe, and they're exchanging war stories and stuff like that. And poor Bob is just there, kind of. You know who Bob reminds me of? Did you ever see WKRP in Cincinnati? There was the news guy was a guy named Les Nessman. He very much Les Nessman is Bob, but Marla apparently was a interrogator. Thus the name Marla the Merciless, because she could interrogate Nazis and get them to spill their secrets. And apparently she did some pretty less than savory things to the Nazis to get them to spill the beans on some stuff. It's kind of shitty because everybody kind of treats Bob like shit because he didn't see any action and he wasn't actual military. He was just working at the Pentagon at the time. It's pretty crappy. We get inside. Everybody pours themselves a drink. A lot of jabbing between DeFranco and Stanton. Apparently Stanton is a gay guy, and DeFranco keeps calling him a faggot. First, it's kind of like, cheeky and fun, but you can tell Stanton doesn't really appreciate that very much. And DeFranco's a much older guy than Stanton. Stanton looks like he could kick his ass. There's also some allegations pending against Major Stanton. We'll get more into that as the movie goes on, because it's going to get nasty. But Hawk says, hey, don't worry, those allegations are going to get cleared up, and they're going to write you an apology. And DeFranco kind of says, yeah, I got your back on this. We'll make sure you don't get in any trouble. Everything's good, but it's not really alluded to just yet as to what the hell is going on with Archie. From there, we get in and we learn that Hawk's wife recently committed suicide, and everybody's kind of bummed about that. Her name was Susie. Apparently, she wasn't mentally well towards the end. Hawk is not taking it very well at all. I guess he's become an alcoholic. And his house is very cluttered. It's not like hoarder-esque cluttered, but here's a cool thing about this movie. From this point on, the entire movie is going to take place in real time, and it all takes place inside the study of this house. We're not going to leave this room for the rest of the movie, and there's not going to be any jump cuts or flashbacks or 2 days later or 3 days. Here we are. This is where we are. This is one of the things I like about this movie. We are running in real time from here on out. Although sometimes it feels like it's kind of going a bit slower, like maybe an hour or two has passed, but it actually hasn't. So anyway, they get in there, and Hawk is walking around. We see him close the door to the study once everybody's inside and lock it from the inside and put the key in his pocket. Now he's locked everybody in the study. Very cool. Hawk is walking around. He's talking about how much he misses Susie, and they're all like, oh, we feel for you, buddy. She wasn't well. She's in a better place. And he's like, yeah, I know. I've been reading about metaphysics, and I went to church, and the pastor pissed me off because he said that she was damned because she took her own life. And but anyway, what we're getting to here is Hawk has brought everybody here tonight to conduct a seance, to try to get to speak to Susie again. Okay, well, luckily we've all had a couple of cocktails, and we're feeling pretty loose. We're a little, hey, this is crap. This is a bunch of bullshit. I don't know what you read, but no, we're not doing this. And Hawk's like, well, okay, you don't have to believe, but just humor me on this, because I would like some answers. And you're right, 99.9% of the stuff that I read sounds like horseshit, but there's still 0.1% that nobody can explain, and if there's 0.1%, then that means there might be some truth to something. So reluctantly, we all agree to attempt this seance. As we're sitting down at the table, Hawk is like, hey, DeFranco, I'm going to need you to take care of something for me and Susie tonight. And he's like, yeah, what? And he's like, you'll know, but I need it done before you leave this room tonight. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say. So they all sit down at the table, and they all, hold hands and all that shit. Hawk pulls out a piece of bloody clothing that I guess Susie was wearing when she took her own life, and puts it in a locket. And then he sets a locket on the table. And they all join hands and close their eyes, and everybody's kind of, huffing and puffing under their breath. Oh, here we go. Here comes some bullshit. Hawk is like, if there's any spirits in here, you need to talk to us. And nothing happens, of course. And Archie's like, all right, can we be done? And then he's like, no, everybody don't let go of your hands. Is there any spirits in here? And suddenly there's a bang at the closet. Everybody freaks out. What the fuck? What's in the closet? He's like, don't you get up. Nobody get up. We have to maintain the circle until we're done with the seance. So he's like holding on to everybody. And then he's like, all right, spirits, If you're in here, I need you to force your way into this world and let me know. And they're all like, what the fuck is in the closet? Bang, bang, 2 more bangs from the closet. But now the locket with the blood on the table like starts to vibrate. That's the sound of vibration, by the way. I don't know if you... and then it like shoots out. Like the locket straightens itself and kind of turns into a compass and starts rotating around the inner part of the table. It's very hard for me to explain what that looks like, but when you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. And it kind of turns the table into a giant compass, and it spins around until it points at DeFranco. And then bang, bang, bang at the closet again. At this point, Franco jumps, he like lets go of the hands, and he goes and runs towards the closet, and that kind of broke the circle, but Hawk was like, get your fucking ass back here. We're not done yet. So Franco comes back and he grabs hands again, and this part is a little silly. A spectral hand comes out of the table, and it looks very much like something we saw in Ghostbusters. You know, you remember how they did the ghosts in Ghostbusters? They were all like kind of wavy looking and fluorescent. That's what the hand looked like to me. It comes out of the table and it does like a bunch of woo, like almost I don't know, it's not like waving or pointing or anything. It's just like moving its fingers around and kind of, I don't know, just going around the table. I know that the sound effects that I'm making do not make a bit of fucking difference as to what I'm trying to explain, but it's the only way that makes sense to me, so that's how I'm going to do it, you sons of bitches. At this point, DeFranco freaks right out again, and he's like, God damn it! And he breaks the circle again, and he's like, I'm done, bro, I'm out. But Hawk is like, whoa, that was it, that was Susie's hand. That makes perfect sense. And now here comes the closet again. Bang, bang, bang. But one of the things that Hawk said before they started the seance is that they cannot break the circle until the seance is ended. I guess there's a shutdown procedure for the seance. So, but he did that though, so that fucking sucks. And now he's like, oh shit. Hawk is like, he's like, what the hell's going on? DeFranco's like, what the hell's in the closet? What was that fucking hand that came out of the table? This is some seriously spooky shit. I don't want any part of this. But Hawk is like, holy crap, it's real. It's all real. This all makes more sense now. Yeah, Susie's still here, but she's, in limbo or something because she killed herself. So, holy crapola. Bang, bang, bang at the closet again. Hawk looks up at DeFranco and he's like, remember, I need you to take care of that thing for me before you leave. And then this is where we discover that the whole time Hochstetler had a under the table holster, and he had a Springfield under there. He pulls it out, puts it under his chin, and commits suicide. Blows his brains all over the back of the wall. Everybody goes, what the fuck, man? Hochstetler is now dead. He collapses onto the table, and what the fuck? We're all just kind of sitting there in stunned silence, and then bang, bang, bang at the closet again. But this time, bang, the closet door springs open, and out comes a young lady who is bound and gagged. So Hochstetler had a young lady, has apparently abducted a young lady and kept her in the closet. This is where we get a little bit more backstory on what the hell was going on with Susie. She was mentally unwell, or at least we think she was. She might have been, I don't know. And we never really find out, do we? Now that I think about it. That just added I just never considered that until right now. Because some things are about to come up here, and we never really got an answer, but maybe we do, now that I think about it. So, okay. Well, I'm going to walk you through that, even though I just had this profound revelation about the fucking movie. Okay, so, boom, young lady, blonde, dressed in the period, bound and gagged. She manages to get the gag out of her mouth and, get her hands free. They're like, who the hell are you? And she's like, ooft, my name is Hildy, I am from Germany. And they're like, oh, shit. So this is where we get the backstory on Susie. Apparently Susie was mentally unwell, paranoid, And the reason she was paranoid is because a German family moved in a couple of doors down. And Susie managed to convince herself that they were Nazi spies. And she reported them, and apparently there was like a form of suspicion that you could fill out back then, whatever that means. And but nobody ever did anything because they weren't. We don't think they were actually spies, but somebody checked them out, found them to be not spies, and then Susie reported them again and again and again, and really just kind of lost her mind. Eventually what happened was Hochstetler at one point dipped out to go get some more cigarettes, and when he came back, Susie slit her wrists and bled out, and that's how she died, and that sucks. But after she died, Hochstetler started kind of dipping into the paranoid side himself, and he was like, oh, maybe they were spies. One of the last things that Susie said before she died is that they were spies and they were moving in on her because they knew that she knew. So, watch out there, buddy. I don't know what, but then she mysteriously, quote unquote, kills herself, and there's that. That's pretty nasty stuff. So, then after obviously she died, then Hochstetler started kind of obsessing over the German family down the street, and apparently abducted the young lady who was the matriarch of the family and had her tied up in the closet. Now, this is when everything kind of spins out of control. First, we try to do the right thing. They're like, fuck me, let's call the cops. There's no phone in this room, but there must be one somewhere in the house. They go to leave the study, and it's locked from the inside. Oh, shit. Okay, so Marla is like, hey, DeFranco, why don't you go check out Hawk's body? He's got to have a key on him. So he goes over there and starts digging around in Hawk's pants, and he finds the key. He's walking towards the door to open it up, and he's like, wait a minute. Hawk said that there was something I needed to do before I left this room. And Hawk was his best friend, obviously. He was like, oh, he wanted me to kill this chick because she actually is a Nazi, God damn it. And at that point, people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Hildy is like, oh, no. I am not a Nazi. I am just the greengrocer who lives down the street. And I am not, I was never even in the Germany when the Nazi party came about. I'm an American, always have been, lived here. My father moved here back in 1931, and we opened a grocery store. And she goes on and on about, she's not a Nazi, she's definitely not a spy. Susie lost her goddamn mind, convinced herself that she was, and has been stalking her ever since. But everybody's going, that sounds like something a Nazi spy would say there, young Hildy. I think we need to kill you for the war effort. And she's like, but the war is over. There is no more Nazis. Why do you do this to me? And they're like, well, either way, we should probably just kill you anyway because it's what our best friend here wanted us to do. And Marla's like, all right, calm the hell down. And Bob is trying to talk sense into everybody. But Archie and Paul, the two majors, are like, we got to kill her because she might have been a Nazi spy. So there's that. Now, from this point forward, we get a lot of back and forth. The good news is that before anybody makes any serious moves, Archie goes and grabs the gun that Hochstetler killed himself with. So Paul has the key. Archie has the gun. First, Archie wants to kill Hildy also, so he points the gun at her. And they're like, okay. Marla and Bob are like, okay, let's be reasonable here, folks. Hawk was clearly unwell also and wildly depressed since Susie died. And Susie was unwell also, and she was obsessed over poor Hildy here. He abducted her, okay, and kept her in the fucking closet. Does any of that sound like something a rational person would do? So let's not kill Hildy. Let's let her go, and we'll file one of those suspicious reports. But it doesn't fucking matter because the war's over anyway, right? You want to spy? There is no Germany. I guess technically there is, but Berlin was split in two, and there are no more Nazis. It's 1945. They're all either dead or in internment camps or war criminal. Not internment camps, being tried for war crimes at military tribunals. It doesn't matter. Let her spy. They lost. There's nothing she can do. And they're like, well, we still got to kill her because it was Hawk's wish because she probably drove Susie to kill herself. So they're like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck it all. No, I'm not. Archie's got the gun pointed at her. He's like, you know what? I'm not. I've been killing people for Hawk for a long time. I'm not going to kill her too because the war's over and there's no point. Nobody needs to get killed anymore, I think. So I'm not going to kill her. But he holds on to the gun. Paul is like, hey, Major, you need to kill her because Hawk said that I had to do this. If you don't want to kill her, it's fine. Give me the gun. I'll kill her. And Archie's like, no, nobody needs to get killed here. Give me the fucking key, and we'll walk right out of here, and you can not do that. This little argument goes on, and then Marla gets involved. She's like, nobody needs to die. The war's over. At some point, Archie is like, you know what? Fuck all this anyway. And he just starts shooting at the lock on the door. He's like, bang, bang, bang. Yeah, now we can just walk out of here, but the door still won't budge. Okay? Okay, that's weird. That's a little weird, right? Things are getting a little more heated now between everybody. This is where we find out what Archie's deal is. So, apparently Archie has been in the paper due to possible war crimes. We get the whole story from Paul. And apparently Paul was set to testify on Archie's behalf. Basically what happened was Archie threw some live grenades into the windows of a kindergarten in Germany and killed 56 kids, knowing full well that it was a kindergarten and there were kids in there. Now the plan, that's unruly. I do not condone that type of behavior. Hildy, on the other hand, speaks up like on Archie's behalf. She's like, well, that doesn't make him a bad person. I mean, people have to do terrible things during the wartime, and that doesn't make them bad people. It just means that they are good soldiers and following orders, and, okay. Okay, so now that I think about it, and this kind of sheds some new light on the movie. Now that I think about it, I kind of feel like Hildy was kind of playing them a little bit. Now, I'm not saying she was a Nazi spy, and even if she was, who really cares? 1945, war's over. But more to the point, like watching the way Hildy, and thinking about it now from a different perspective, watching the way Hildy kind of plays into one guy's sympathies and then tries to get on somebody else's good side. She was a Nazi spy. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to speculate just yet. Anyway, unloaded on the door, can't get through. Found out that Archie actually is a war criminal. Apparently, Hawk and DeFranco had it all sorted out. They were going to blame it on this PFC that died over there, and they were going to say he just got trigger happy and freaked out. But, he's dead, so there's no point in trying to assume blame for anything at this point. So there's that. This kind of makes Marlo look at Archie a little bit different, and Archie's like break down crying, and he's like, I knew there was kids in there, but there were snipers on the roof, and we had to take that building, and it would have been impossible with those fucking kids in there, because, there's kids, but we had to get up on the roof. It's a whole goddamn thing. How many more Americans would have died trying to get around the kids? Well, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense, but it's fine. Everything's getting a little creepy. And now we're going to dip our fingers into a little bit of Evil Dead here, because Hochstetler, Larry Fessenden, is dead. He's been dead since the, 25-minute mark of the movie, but his body is just slumped over the table with a giant hole in the back of its head. Nobody's like, it's nasty, and it's there, and it's gross, you know what I mean? But everybody seems okay with the fact that that's there, but we can't get out of this room either, and there's no telephone. There's no way we can call anybody. At this point, Hawk kind of reanimates. He doesn't get up off the table. He just is still bent over there, slumped over the table, but he starts talking. And he's like, kill her. What is that, Hawk? Kill the Nazi. Kill the Nazi. There's like blood shooting out of his face. I'm doing a terrible impression. I know. But it's pretty creepy. And everybody's like, well, there you have it. You heard it from him himself. We got to kill her to get out. And again, Hildy is like, no, I am not a Nazi. Maybe there is somebody else that he would like you to kill, but it is not me because I am not a Nazi. More back and forth between Paul and Archie. Paul calls him a faggot like 3 more times. Eventually, we're like, oh, whoa, dudes, enough with the gunplay. Marla comes up with the big idea. Okay, wait now, okay. This has clearly gotten out of hand. We have a dead guy talking to us. We saw a ghost hand, and apparently we have a abducted German young lady in the closet. Look, just hear me out here. I think what we need to do is finish the seance to get out. We need to do the shutdown procedure or whatever, and then we can get up out of here. So they all reluctantly agree. DeFranco really wants to kill the Nazi. They can't get out of there. I don't know why I'm calling her a Nazi all of a sudden. But at the end, it kind of would make sense. And now that I think about it, I think maybe she was a Nazi spy the whole time. You know what I mean? Because, okay, well, you don't know because you probably haven't seen this movie. But talking myself through it and running you through it on this show, watching it last night, this is the second time I saw it, I was like, oh, God, she's not a fucking Nazi. He's an alcoholic and his wife was batshit crazy. But watching it now and thinking about it, she was very shifty, Hildy. The way she kind of played them against each other and, got on one side and then got on his side to help him and then jumped over to her side to do the whole fucking thing. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Okay, so Marla convinces DeFranco to try to finish the seance. And then he's like, well, okay, but if this doesn't fucking work, then I'm going to kill her and then we're going to walk right out of here. And Archie's like, you're not killing anybody, but we're going to do this anyway. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try something else that doesn't involve anybody getting killed tonight. So they sit down and they try to restart the seance, or I guess just pick it up where they left off. And this is where things get even more gnarly. So they reluctantly all grab hands again, and even with dead Hochstetler. And Marlo's like, okay, we would like to not do this anymore, if that's a possibility. Can we stop the seance, please? And nothing happens for a second, and then everybody's like, well, yep, that was horseshit. But then she's like, I said I would like, if there's any spirits here, we would like to stop and we would like to leave this room, if that's possible. Can we do that, please? And again, nothing happens, but this time, after a few seconds of dead silence, Hochstetler sets back up. And he bolts upright and he's like, kill the Nazi. You must kill the Nazi that killed my Susie. And Franco's like, well, there you have it. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. And then everybody's like, all right, no. But then they unlock hands again, and everybody's like, no, man, we're not killing anybody. That's not, she works at a grocery store. She's not a fucking spy. And then Hochstetler just starts slamming his own face into the table. This part was pretty gnarly, dude. It's Larry Fessenden just bang, 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 bang. And every time his head comes off, you get to see how his face is slowly getting demolished and teeth are coming out of his cheeks and blood is squirting all over the place. After the 8th or 9th face slamming into the table, he rears back and he's just a fucking bloody pulp. But he kind of blinks once or twice. And they're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Now there's blood all over the walls. Blood all over Marla's face. Everything's disgusting. Bob is like, fucking dude. But we have unfortunately broken the circle again and thus not ended the seance. So we still can't get out of this room. And now Hawk is really gross and nobody wants to hold hands with him. Rightfully so, I would say. At this point, Archie has a little freak out. And he's like, just let me out of this room. He runs up to the door and he's like, please, I don't care. Take me to jail. Take me to hell. Just let me out. And then the door kind of creaks open a little bit. And he's like, huh? So he pulls it open. And on the other side of the door is only what I can describe as a Jenga puzzle of dead kids. that are smoldering and screaming, I guess. And he's like, ah! And there's like flames behind him. He's like, ah! And everybody's going, Jesus fucking Christ! Shut the door! So he shuts the door, and again it locks, and we're stuck right back in there. And Archie is like, holy fuck! I don't want to go out there. So now it looks like we have a bit of a more problem on our hands here. Again, big standoff. I keep calling him Jeremy. Archie is like, I'm not killing anybody. Nobody's killing anybody. God damn it. DeFranco is like, just let me kill that girl and we'll get this whole shit over with. A little bit of a struggle. Finally, Archie pulls the gun on DeFranco and he's like, give me that fucking key, you asshole. So DeFranco's like, I'm not going to give you the key, but I will open the door. So he puts the key in the lock, and the lock becomes a gelatinous mouth kind of a deal. And it sucks the key in, and the door still won't open. And the key is gone now. And he's like, the goddamn door ate the key, man. Now what do you want me to do? And he's like, oh, shit. So at this point, we're like beyond panicking. We try breaking the windows. They won't break. We try shooting the windows out. They're not budging. We are legit trapped in here, and nobody can figure out why. Everything's fucked up, and tempers are running short. So eventually, Marla raises a hand and says, okay, I am a Nazi interrogator. If this young lady is in fact a Nazi, I will find out right now. But, you motherfucker, if it turns out she is not a Nazi, then we are going to have to come up with some other way of getting out of here that does not involve killing her. So, does everybody agree on this? And everybody's like, yeah, sure, I guess. DeFranco's like, yeah, go ahead. We can let her go. I'm just going to follow her to her house and beat her to death in front of her fucking husband and children. What? Okay, calm your ass down, old-timer. But reluctantly, we agree to this. So Hildy and Marla sit down, and Marla's like, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. If you're not answering honestly, I will know. If you get up from this chair, it will be an admission of guilt. If you try to leave, it will be an admission of guilt. If you do anything other than answer my questions, it will be an admission of guilt. So she takes a hairpin out, and she grabs Hildy's fingers, and she's like, I guess this is like the interrogation technique. She's like, what is your full name? Hildy something Jürgenbaum. Okay. Are you affiliated with the Nazi Party? No. Are you affiliated with the German Socialist Workers' Party? No. Are you a Nazi spy? No. And at one point she just goes ahead and stabs her right in the fucking fingertip, and she's like, don't you fucking move, or it'll be an admission of guilt. And she's like, I am not admitting anything that I have been with the Nazis. And at one point she slips up, and she calls, I think it was either her boss at the grocery store or maybe her husband. She refers to them as her commander. Yeah. How about that shit? Yeah. Eventually, Marla is satisfied. She's like, well, I heard that, but I don't think that. She's like, no, I was just making the analogy. My commander back at the grocery store, he gives me orders and I must follow them, same as my husband, much as you military people get orders from the commanders, yes? And she's like, all right, you're not a Nazi. And she pulls it out. But then, that pissed everything, that pissed something off. The radio starts going on and off by itself, and the power goes out. Oh, shit. Now it's fucking dark in here. There's already a dead guy that has gotten up on more than one occasion and has talked, and now it's fucking dark in here. It's even creepier dark because it's December 27th, and you can still see the lights from the street outside, and they're those Christmas lights, so there's like a dim kind of multicolor illumination going on. And then we get a little silliness here. We get like a ghost quake, and Hildy jumps behind something, and what we have to assume is the ghost of Susie pops up and starts running or like crawling towards Hildy, and she's like, "You killed me, you Nazi spy!" And she's like, "Oh dear." But at one point, the ghost of Susie says, "You came in here when my husband was gone, you pinned me down, and you slit my wrists. You murderer." And everybody's freaking out, and holy shit, and now Hawk is up again. "Kill the Nazi, kill the Nazi, kill the Nazi." Everybody's freaking right out. Eventually, the candles around the room light themselves, giving some illumination. At this point, somehow in all of that, the pistol got laid down, and there's a big tussle. What's his name? DeFranco was like, "Well, you heard it from the ghost of Susie. That's a Nazi spy. She killed her, I guess, pinned her down and slit her wrist. I'll go ahead and kill her with my own fucking hands." So he jumps on top of Hildy and starts choking her. The ghost is gone, by the way. Starts choking her, and then Archie comes over, and he's like, "Get off her, you fucking clown." And he's trying to wrestle DeFranco off of Hildy, and then Bob, in this tussle, sees the gun hanging out of Archie's back pocket. So he runs up and grabs the pistol out of his back pocket, and he's like, "Ooh, okay, everybody just chill the fuck out." And then Archie and DeFranco get up, and they're like, "Okay, Bob, you're not going to kill anybody. You're not a soldier. You're not a killer. You just happen to be Marla's husband." And Marla's going, "Don't you talk to Bob like that." I really hope that my wife never has to stand up for me in that fashion. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll admit I can be a world-class vagina, but I like to think that if I'm being strong-armed by two guys in front of my wife, I can at least grow enough of a pair to tell them to eat my fucking asshole, then have her do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he's pointing the gun at Archie and Paul, and he's like, "You better back off. Yeah, everybody just get away from me. Just get away." And DeFranco's like, "Bob, I'm going to ask you one more time nicely to give me the fucking gun." And then he starts running at Bob. Bob, of course, just pulls the trigger and shoots Paul right in the chest. And Paul's like, or first actually, he shoots it like two of his fingers off. And he's like, "God damn it, Bob, you motherfucker, I'm going to kill you." And then he shoots him again in the chest. Boom, killing Paul. So DeFranco is now dead on the floor. Yeah, that sucks. And everybody's like, "Jesus Christ, Bob." Hildy pops up and she's like, "Oh dear, you seems to have shot the general major guy over here." And then Bob, just with like this completely blank look on his face, turns to Hildy, bam, shoots her right in the head. Down she goes. And just like that, magically, the door pops open. And it's the same old hallway out there, and they all just walk out. Which leads me to believe that Hildy may have in fact been a Nazi spy. Now, couple of thoughts. Number one, watching the way she moves in this movie the second time, she very well could have been playing them against each other, trying to get free. Number two, the ghost of Susie accused her of not only being a Nazi spy, but of actually coming in there and murdering her. So holding her down and slitting her wrists somehow. Seems a little wacky, but I guess it could happen. You would think that in the afterlife, if you had a mental illness, you would have some clarity, and you would know that you took your own life, if you did in fact take your own life. But if you were murdered, you would still want revenge, I assume. And anyway, Bob and Marla walk right out. They're like, "Well, you got to call the cops." And Archie's like, "Yeah, I got to turn myself in for that kindergarten thing in the morning." And they get in the car, and then Marla's like, "That was a fuck this war anyway." And that's pretty much the end of your movie. I think, looking back at it, I think Hildy actually was a Nazi spy, now that I think about it. I would hate to think that xenophobia and paranoia follow you into the afterlife. I would also, I mean, she was very smooth throughout the whole movie. Just the way she was like, she didn't like break down crying. She was like, "Oofed, I don't believe that Major Archie is a bad man for killing 56 children. I do believe he was following the orders. You know, the way playing them against each other a little bit, she could have been a spy, dude. She could have been. I'm not saying she was. I'm just saying, talking to you about it now, I see how she could have been. And watching it the first time, I was like, oh, God, come on. He was an alcoholic. She was batshit crazy. He was, very lonely, and he thought this would somehow bring him closure by killing this young lady. No, she's not a Nazi spy. She works at a grocery store. But now, it could have all been a front, ladies and gentlemen. She could have indeed been Hitler's little sex monkey. So, there's that. I say it's a good show. I would implore you, having, had this recent epiphany, I would implore you guys to watch this movie and let me know if you think Hildy was actually a Nazi spy or not. I want to know what you think. Area code 775-387-0275 or mail at paddedroompodcast.com. Was Hildy a Nazi spy? I'm curious. I want to know. In the meantime, I'm going to take myself a little break, come back with some other stuff for you.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have my empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you. What have I become? And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you.
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, conspiracy theories, World War II style. I think it is time for a long overdue meat hook.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook, top 3 World War II horror films. Now, it doesn't mean they have to take place in World War II. They could be World War II adjacent. They could really just have something to do with Nazis or something like that. Whatever you feel like is a World War II movie, I guess, would be the way to go. I'm going to start it off with number 3. You remember a movie we watched a couple years back about a American submarine? It's called Below. I like this one because it brings a haunting to a submarine. I don't know that you call that a haunting, but the movie takes place during World War II on a U.S. sub. It's definitely haunting. I would say it's a haunting. If you haven't seen it's a very good movie, by the way. Zach Galifianakis is in it for a hot second or two. Bruce Greenwood, what's his name there? The big guy, Creepshow 2, the white guy that played the Indian, what's his name? I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. He's in it. It's a pretty good show. Basically, they accidentally, well, I'm not going to get, the reveal is good, but it feels very much like a haunted submarine in World War II. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's it. But then in the end, you find out what's really going down, and these guys fucked up, is what it boils down to. Great show, very suspenseful. The ending is a real kick in the nuts. Which brings me to my number 2. This is not a good movie. I'm going to be honest with you. But it sits on that pantheon of movies that I know are bullshit, but for some reason I still love them to death. I'm talking about Shockwaves. You've seen it. Peter Cushing, shipwrecked on Nazi zombies on a abandoned resort island, and a shipwrecked fucking people have to hang out until the next ship comes, but there's Nazi zombies on the island, and for some reason they all wear goggles. That's how you beat this particular style of Nazi zombies. You got to smack the goggles off their face, and then they just kind of freak out and go back underwater. I don't know why I like this movie so much. It's one of my favorites. I got it on Blu-ray. I put it on every chance I get. The Nazi zombies all look like blonde hair, like platinum blonde hair. You can't really tell they're zombies. They just kind of walk like zombies. It's because they all come out of the water. So any zombie makeup they had on, it's not gonna work because you're basically in the ocean. You pop out, it's all gone, right? It's not a very good movie. I'll be honest with you. It's very silly. Everybody dies, so except for one chick. But it's Nazi zombies on an island, man. And the goggles thing is never really, it never really is explained or understood what the hell that's all about. But anyway, that's my number 2, Shockwaves. And my number 1, I got more Nazi zombies for you. You probably think I'm going to say Dead Snow, but I'm not. What I'm going to say is Outpost instead. Don't get me wrong, I like Dead Snow a lot, but I feel like that's more of a comedy. Dead Snow 2 is full-on comedy. But Outpost, however, those are probably the most serious, fucking pissed off, actual Nazi zombies that I've seen anyway. Right? They're all hanging around that bunker when the siren goes off. They all pop up and just stab the living piss out of mercenaries. I don't know that that's necessary, but goddamn, those guys were pissed off, right? And then the one, like general guy, the one that they found in the bunker, he's a zombie. He just has a little bit more self-control, I guess. I don't know. 2 sequels to that one. You had Black Sun, and then you had Rise of the Spetsnaz. Black Sun was more of like a weird espionage spy situation where they were trying to track down the original team that went to the outpost, and then when they get there, they find Nazi zombies, of course. Rise of the Spetsnaz was pretty good. That was like the prequel. Russian military locating the bunker, and the Nazis capturing the Russians and then using them to experiment with the zombies, like see if the zombies will go attack the Russian guys. It's pretty dope, dude. It's pretty. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of hot and bothered to rewatch the Outpost movies. They're pretty good, especially if you're in the mood for not cheeky, funny Nazi zombies. So there's that. That's my 3 on a meat hook for World War II movies. I'm going Outpost at number 1, Shockwaves at number 2, and Below at number 3. Let me know what your meat hook is for World War II movies. Does not have to include Nazi zombies if you don't want to, but I feel like you'd be kind of remiss if you didn't have at least one Nazi zombie movie in there. Mental health hotline, again, is area code 775-387-0275. Or get us on the regular old email, mail@paddedroompodcast.com. I would love to know what you think about that. But while you're thinking about it, I'm going to tell you what movies I got to watch this week in a little segment called, What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
Oh, how about Push from 2025? This one just hit Shudder. This is a pretty good fucking movie, dude. You got a pregnant realtor who is trying to sell this huge old I wouldn't call it a mansion, it's more like a Spanish villa kind of a thing, but it's in the United States, and she's doing an open house, and this weird dude shows up, but she's like, God, I gotta move this fucking house. So she shows him around, and then she's like, all right, well, it's time to go. But then he comes back, and he wrecks her car and chases her around, and he kind of goes slasher on her a little bit. I like this one a lot because it leaves room for like a supernatural element. You can't help but wonder at a lot of this movie if the house isn't haunted and it's all happening in her head. You find out in the end what's really going on, but there is definitely a possibility of supernatural stuff involved. This one could definitely do with a sequel, and it could go a lot of different directions, dude. But just as a home invasion movie, kind of a deal, slasher in a big scary house, awesome. Love this one a lot. Great atmosphere, great suspense. The pregnancy angle comes into play. That's a whole other thing. So, yeah, I highly recommend that one. I suggest you check it out. I also watched Scarecrows from 1988. This thing just popped up on my Tubi. What recommended for me. I wasn't really... usually I just turn on Tubi, like when I'm folding laundry or something. I'll find something that I already saw, and I'll be like, I'll just put that on while I'm doing this. But I saw this. I saw the thumbnail art for it, and I said to myself, it's been a long time since I've seen a killer Scarecrow movie that wasn't Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this up. Boom. Scarecrows, 1988 is bullshit. It's pretty fucking silly. You got a team of, I guess, bank robbers who've hijacked a plane, and they're flying over the rural countryside. When one of the robbers decides, fuck these guys, I'm going to bail out with the money. I got myself a parachute, and I'm going to kick the money out of the plane, and then I'll jump right out after it, and then I'll find the money and make off on my own. So he does that, but he lands on this weird plantation full of scarecrows. And then the other bank robbers, there's like 6 or 8 of them. They're like, pull the plane around. Let's go down there and kick his ass and get our money back. So they pull the plane around and land it, and they all get out and start running through these woods to try to find the money and or the guy that double-crossed them. And then they start getting picked off by the scarecrows also, and the whole thing culminates when, the last guy gets picked off by the scarecrows. There's a very dumb explanation as to why the scarecrows were alive. It's silly. It's fucking silly. I don't know what possessed me to think that this would be any good. It's about killer scarecrows. What is the scariest movie involving a scarecrow that you can think of? Husk wasn't bad. Jeepers Creepers, the creeper kind of posed as a scarecrow for a hot minute. There was an episode of Tales from the Crypt. Other than that, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, I think, is about as good as you're going to get in the killer scarecrow situation, right? Did I miss something? Is there some fucking diamond in the rough regarding killer scarecrows? I can't think of any. No, I got nothing. I think that's about as good as it gets. So I don't know why I thought this would be any better, because it's not. So sorry about that. And that's all I got to watch this week. How about some immersion therapy, dudes?
Immersion therapy.
Did you get a chance to check out Messiah of Evil? I hope so, because that is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I would put it probably top 25. I like it a lot. If it pops up, I'll probably watch it. I dig it because it's just got such a fucking Lovecrafty, culty vibe to it. And, dude, just the supermarket sequence, how dope was that? The movie theater sequence was even better. The beachfront house, whatever it was, with all the murals all over the walls, make you feel like somebody's watching you the whole time. The weirdo, I guess, playboy with his 2 hotties rolls into town. And what the fuck are that should be a movie in and of itself, whatever's going on with him. He's got like these 2 groupies, and they just drive around collecting weird folk tales, I guess. But that brings them to Point Doom, and this young lady is trying to find her dad. And nobody wants to help her at all. And this town has like a weird... That entire town is like a bananas Lovecrafty Cthulhu cult. Or something, right? The dark man that came out of the water and made a deal. Dude, it's badass. It is badass. I love it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. Now that I got a boner for Nazi zombies, your immersion therapy for this week is going to be Outpost. Yeah, that one from 2008. Starring Ray Stevenson, Julian Wadham, and Richard Brake. You can find this bad guy streaming on Tubi or Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen it, inmates, you're welcome. How about that? Yeah. Great show. I think you're going to dig it. Check that out. I will do the same, and we can compare notes next week. But now, it's time for you to educate me. Oh, fuck me. No, it's not. It's time for a round of Who's Your Daddy? God damn it. Dude, I had a pretty good streak going of not saying educate me for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I just fucked that all up. God damn it, man. Maybe I'll edit that out.
Who is Daddy?
First, my clues from last week. I am a horny teenager, and I've got high hopes of losing my virginity tonight. I found myself an online floozy who is claiming to be a nymphomaniac, and she is ready to service me and any of my friends that I want to bring. I just have to go to her trailer later tonight, and we're going to get it on. So me and a couple of the boys are going to roll up and try our luck. Hope we don't get abducted by a weird Christian cult and shot on the top of the head after being saran wrapped to weird poles, I think, if I remember right, and thus launching a giant ATF standoff that ends in a headbutt. I am, of course, Red State. That is a great show. I don't know if you've seen that one or not, but that, I think, is John Goodman at his finest for a horror guy, unless you count that 13 Seconds of Chud that he was in. He was actually in Chud. Did you know that? He played a cop in a donut shop. He had like 2 lines, and then that was it for Chud. Chud, by the way, not as good of a movie as I recall. Chud 2, on the other hand, well, that's just a good time. All right, who might I be this week, you ask? Well, I am a troubled high school student. And I am in the angsty phase of my high school career. I don't particularly like my parents or anybody. I got a crew of, 5 or 6 friends, and we all share the same troubles. Mainly, we're having a really hard time getting a good night's sleep. So that sucks to start with. That's number one. Number two, my friend circle is getting smaller and smaller by the minute because for some reason my friends are going to sleep and not waking up at all. I'm going to do a little Scooby Gang action with a lady friend of mine, and we're going to find out that we all went to the same preschool. And there was a dude there that worked at the preschool. He actually lived under the preschool. And the preschool shut down because we found out there was some gnarly goings-ons there. And our parents maybe know a little bit more than they're telling us, which is going to piss me. It's going to make me even more angsty. And goddamn, if I can't get a good night's sleep, I feel like I could figure a lot of this out if I could just, catch 5-6 hours. I don't know. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in next week, and I'll drop some knowledge on you, inmates. That was a very difficult one for me to lay out for you. I hope it wasn't too obvious, but goddamn, that's not an easy one. All right. Thank you very much, inmates, for joining me. Hopefully Dusty's back next week, or Buddy, or anybody. I don't know. Maybe I'll dig up another co-host. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign running. Just head on over to paddedroompodcast.com. Find all the links you need there. Join me next week for Habit. Closing out Larry Fessenden month here in the Padded Room. I miss him already. I don't know if anybody else saw Brooklyn 4-5, but he had a full mouth of choppers in that one. Larry Fessenden has like a textbook missing front tooth. He had some kind of a thing in there because he had a full set of teeth in that one. Good for him. That's kind of his deal that he's missing that front tooth. He looks like, Alfalfa or Spanky, one of the fucking kids from the thing. Anyway, thank you again for joining me. Join me next week for Habit. For Larry Fessenden, Buddy in absentia, Dusty in absentia. Dusty's back, whatever the hell's wrong with that thing. Toothless people. World War II veterans. Got the greatest generation. They're dying very rapidly. Thank God they were here in the early 40s, because we might all be wearing swastikas if they weren't. So thank you very much, World War II veterans. And the Padded Room Podcast. I'm afraid visiting hours are over.